Hey everyone, well, we said we were going to do it. We absolutely have to do it. And here we are, we're going to do it. We're going to have a red wheater war between these two bottles right here. We're going to do a blind taste comparison between Holiday Soft Red Wheat Rickhouse Proof 120.1 proof Missouri Straight Bourbon Whiskey against the, I think, much more well-known Maker's Mark Cask Strength Batch 2304 112.1 proof Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. When I just reviewed this Holiday Rickhouse Proof Soft Red Wheat, I said several times during my review that this just absolutely reminded me of Maker's Mark. And it's not really a surprise why. There's a lot of similarities. First, they're both wheated bourbons. Number two, they use soft, Maker's Mark calls it soft red winter wheat. Holiday calls it soft red wheat. I think it's the same thing. And what's more is the mash bills are very, very similar, relatively similar. Before I get to that, the proofs, this actually is on the higher end of the range of proofs of the cask strength. They range usually, most of them I've seen in 109, 111. This one's 112.1 proof. So you're looking at about 8 proof points difference. That's not really a lot. But the mash bills are relatively similar. So the Holiday mash bill is 73% corn, 15% wheat, 12% malted barley, while the Maker's Mark Cask Strength mash bill is 70% corn, 16% wheat, 14% malted barley. Very similar. So what I'm going to do, and this is the only way to do this one, I'm going to do this blind. I'm going to mix up glasses, pour each one up. Totally have no idea which one's which. And I really want to see if I can pick them out and which one I like better. Because I am telling you, this was almost scary how similar this tasted and how much it reminded me of this. So let's put it in glasses and let's get this blind going. Okay, so we have the glasses all poured up and all mixed up. Completely mixed these glasses around several times both ways. Have no clue which one is which. The one thing I did realize, and I forgot about this, is the Maker's Mark Cask Strength is a cork. And as I mentioned in the last video, the Holiday is a screw top. I'm always partial to a cork, but, a screw top, this is actually a very good screw top. It seems pretty solid, and I think it probably could keep the liquid inside maybe even fresher for longer. So, the edge on that always is a cork, but I think that's kind of like a non-factor. So basically I'm going to kind of hold the bottom here because I don't want to, I have the labeled on the bottom, but I have no clue which one's which. So we'll try to be pretty careful, and I'm going to hold the bottom like this. So in terms of color, I think they're very, very similar. I mean, very similar. Again, we're looking at, about 8 proof points difference, very similar mash bill. So there's really nothing noticeably different in these colors. So first, let me just, I'm just going to do the noses first. Okay, right off the bat, just in terms of the nose, this glass here seems to be jumping out with a little bit more, I just get a lot more sense of that red winter wheat, of the vanilla, the caramel that's coming out of this one. A little bit more than this one. This is a little more muted, and this one is more potent. Now, if you're looking at the proof, you would think that the one that's jumping out a little bit more would be the higher proof, which would be the Holiday. But that'll be determined. But so far, just on the pure nose, I like this glass in my hand right here. So what we'll do is we're just going to do a taste. I'm going to keep some water open here. I think that's the best way to do it. I have a feeling these are probably going to be very similar, just based on the information that I know. So let's give this one a taste. Cheers. Okay. Cheers. They're very, this is very similar. I knew this was going to be this way. Let me try this again. All right. In terms of the taste, this is so close, and I knew it would be. That's why we're doing this blind. Again, with the nose was a little more prominent. This glass, the palette is a little bit more. It's everything that's in here. This is kind of shining out a little bit more. The profiles are scarily close in terms of the, that red winter wheat profile, the vanilla, the caramels. This is a little bit more forward in that. This is a drop more muted, and by a drop, I mean ever so slightly. So let me just do this once more. I mean, this is very close. But if I have to say, both on the nose and the palate, this glass seems to be kind of shining out just a drop more, a little bit more. What everything that's in here is kind of shining more in terms of the nose and the palate. This is a drop more muted. So let's just go with this for now. I'm going to say that this glass is the one that's maybe slightly better. And I'm not even going to try to guess this. I'm just going to see. This is the glass that I'm saying is just ever so slightly better. So let's see what it is. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's the Maker's Mark. All right. And just to make sure. Okay. All right. I knew this was going to be close. So the Maker's Mark cash strength, which is also on this side here, just ever so slightly. And this is what's interesting, because the Holiday is the one that's just ever so slightly higher in proof. But at the same time, the Maker's Mark's the one that has that 1% more of wheat. Not that that makes a difference, but it's not, the proof isn't the one that's deciding this. So if for this one, the Maker's Mark cash strength ever so slightly, just for me, edges out the Holiday soft red wheat. But I'm going to tell you something. I mean, I would order this any day. So now, the other factor is this. So, I mean, when I say edging out, I mean by a hair. This is very, very close. Very close. And I would take either one of these bottles any day. But now for the more realistic parts of this, and that's the price and availability. So we said for this one that the Maker's Mark, just ever so slightly, a little bit more out there with the nose and the palate. The price here in New Jersey, it's kind of all over the map, but I can get this one, and I did, for $41, and it's as high as $59. I've seen other prices. So $41, and very much available. This one, I have never seen this in my area. It's nowhere to be seen. This I had to order from Sealbacks. This is a $79 bottle plus shipping as far as ordering it from there. So it's, at least with the shipping, you're looking at, 90 or whatever. So this is a lot more expensive than this bottle, and it's just not available at all. So for the purposes of this comparison, at least for me in New Jersey, Maker's Mark will certainly work out a lot better. But I mean, I'm so impressed with this Holiday bottle that I would just, this is, I'm going to stress this one more time. This is by a hair. I have not seen two profiles that are this similar. So everything that was said about this Holiday is absolutely true. And I didn't know where this was going to go or how it was going to end up. But for this one, Maker's Mark cash strength just ever so slightly edges out this Holiday. I would like to see how Larceny ends up in this. I have a feeling it probably, unfortunately, it's really good. But the last couple of comparisons of Larceny kind of like, just lag behind a drop. But I think we'll try that one another time. So anyway, that's our Red Wheat Award for today. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Take care.